So how do you prune like?
Mite siret neo nebo avocado eng emotunwekab sang. Ako unoto ko chang kabatik che tesetai ak kabotisietab avocado.
My name is Paul Muthami Chairman of the group known as TEHU. TEHU stands for Teto and Huhuine locations. This group was started at around, it was in February 2016 by 22 farmers. Those are farmers who came together with just one common thing: marketing. Already they had some plants, they were selling their avocados, but before then they were selling individually. So they were so much exploited, and they knew that the only way for coming out or gaining something was coming together. That's why they came together in January. We came together in January 2016. We registered social services and also with the Ministry of Agriculture. And from that time, the group had been growing. From the little earnings they were getting, because before that time we were selling fruits at around 3 or 4 shillings. That's 2015. And from that time, 2016, from 3 shillings and 4 shillings, now we have been selling our fruits at 19 shillings. Because the graph has been growing this way from 5 shillings, then 8 shillings and 50 cents. The next year in 2018, that was, we sold at 12 shillings. In 2019, 16 shillings. In 2020 and 2021, 20 shillings. And the farmers were pocketing 19 shillings. So we were deducting 1 shilling to facilitate the picking and the keeping of the office. Definitely, it has really changed. If you calculate the retro the farmers were getting before that time, they were getting probably, let's say a tree would give 1,000 shillings. And they were selling at 3 shillings or 4 shillings. That is 3,000 shillings or 4,000 shillings. That is 2016 or 2015. But currently, from that same tree, they are getting 19 shillings. So that's good earnings. Basically, it is organic. It's organic because we have known that we fetch the highest prices when you do organic. And even basically, even before that time, nobody was caring about so much about the avocados. There were no spraying, no synthetic fertilizers, because the only things that we use is manure. As for insect issues, we use the traps, which we control, biologically controlling traps. Yeah, so it's organic farming. Basically, it's organic farming. Compared to the many things we are farming, because we are farmers. We have farmed coffee, we have farmed vegetables, we have farmed tea, and now has. Compared to this, it's very easy to manage. Because what is required is only a little husbandry, manure. The only things that are required are putting manure. After harvesting, you prune and setting the traps. Easy management. So it's so easy to manage an avocado tree compared to many other kind of farming. Seedlings now. Originally, before that time, the little that we used to get, that is in 2016 or in 2014, because the idea came with the Ministry of Agriculture. The first things that were brought here came from, I think, from Kali. But afterwards now, young men who have left the universities, like now the Oxfam people, they give us good certified seedlings that are already certified by the KASS and the AFA. Yeah, so currently now we don't go far. We get seedlings from our neighbors. We promote the young people who have finished colleges and their nurseries are already certified by the Ministry of Agriculture and the KFs. One of the biggest advantages is now through their nurseries now, we link together with the other farmers, those who are in the neighborhood. Let's say those who are mainly from Nyeri, because this is their pioneer shamba, which is in Githakwa. Githakwa is within now the so-called the TEHU, the pioneer group, because it consisted of Githakwa, Gatobero, Kegogoine, and Huhoine. So even when they start their nurseries now, there are many farmers who are outside now. Within now the Nyeri County, they have been at our umbrella. So also our group has been growing. Also some marketing linkages. When they go out, they get some other guys who want avocados. So there's that kind of market linkages. The biggest challenge now, the biggest challenge for farmers is when they do it individually. When you sell alone, you might produce so good fruits, even very quality fruits, but because you don't have the right volumes, because the key on the secret of this is having quality and quantity. So when you come together, we have the quantity. So it's indivisible. We come together as farmers, form groups, sell in big volumes, because when you sell in big volumes, that's your bargaining power. Yes. Beekeeping or bee farming is one of the best things with not only now in the avocado industry, but also in many farm crops. The bees helps in pollination, in pollinating the fruits, because you can't do without the bees. So it's so good to do together with the bees. Normally, the main harvesting seasons now. The main harvesting seasons, it's from March to around September. Let's say now, right now in Nyeri, where our locality is, we start the first fruits, we start picking them from around March all the way to September. That's the main season. Though in between now, right now, in October, December, November, January, there are some scattered crops that are known as the new crops. They are new crops, but the main harvesting season is from March to October. Though in November, December, even January, you can get the new crops. In fact, my advice to farmers is this, that if you plant this, you will never regret. The market of the avocados globally is so demanding. Let's say now in our country. In our country, we have we produce about 3% of what is required globally. So it's something that's so small. Yet we have many kind of trees that are not even helping in the shaba, like metodos, many. But you can plant these. If you plant even if it's just 50 or 100 in an acre, you won't be ashamed. We have said that we are farmers. We have been farming coffee. We have been farming tea and other varieties. But compared to this, if the farmer is supposed to do that kind of mahesabu, na angalia faida yake. So it's advisable to plant the house trees as much as possible in the many open areas one has. Production in the avocado industry, let's take about an acre of planting avocados. An acre will hold about 100, 120 trees, and the the cost that is required there is just kind of a one pickup of manure, and that's about, and the labor that's required there, it won't exceed 10,000 shillings. And the traps that are required, the fry fruit traps, cost, that's what we normally use. In an acre, we require about 5 or 6 fry fruit traps, which costs about 300 each. That's, so if there are 6, that's about 2,000 shillings. And for the whole season, you can use about, you are going to change after every 6 weeks, so, or 2 months. So you can use those traps in 3 cycles, so that's about 6,000 shillings, plus let's say pruning and manure. It won't exceed 20,000 shillings. Now, give just a tree that is going to give about 1,000 fruits. 1,000 fruits times 19 shillings, you can see that per plant that's about 19,000 shillings. And now you can deduct from the initial cost. So you can see there is that big margin compared to other kind of crops. So it's easy to manage, retro input and high returns. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Cliff Luby. I'm a marketing executive at Oxfam Organic. So today we are here at Nyeri, our Nyeri branch, locally known as Mkulima wa Nyeri. This is where we started from as Oxfam, that is back in 2016. And actually at the moment we have expanded, we have several branches across the nation. So basically as Oxfam, we are a registered agribusiness company that specializes in propagation of fruit tree seedlings of different varieties. And also we do help farmers by offering them the agronomical support, whereby we have field officers who go to the farm to advise and assist farmers where they need assistance. And then also we usually help farmers in terms of the market, whereby we help farmers in sourcing the market both locally and even for the export market. So today here at Nyeri, we are majorly here to focus on what we do mostly on the KASS avocado. Okay, the main reason why we decided to focus on the fruit farming, we find like most farmers they're kind of, say, tired with the act of whereby when they do the short-term crops, whereby after every around 6 months you have to clear the farm, again you have to produce. So you find that with the fruit farming, in terms of the production, the market, and everything is kind of guaranteed, and even the returns are quite good. So you find when you try to shift farmers from doing the normal farming for the vegetables towards fruit farming, you find it's kind of beneficial to them. And also when you look in terms of the aspect of the nutrients benefits, you find with the fruits the moment you, even from the common chronic diseases which are present in the globally, you find most of them are usually treated or even cured with the most fruits which are produced by farmers. At the moment, the far we have come, I can say most farmers are really embracing fruit farming, because you can find now even majority are even shifting from the common plants like the coffee, the tea, which are commonly known to be the revenue earners for Kenya. So you find most even farmers are shifting from that to fruit farming, because you find fruit farming in terms of the production, as I said earlier, in terms of the production, the returns, it's quite promising and beneficial. So you find majority are embracing the shift in a positive manner. Normally we usually start with the process of where the land preparation. When a farmer approaches us, because you know basically as much as yes, the climate might be suiting a certain fruit in that area, but you also have to consider the land. Because in the land, normally you have to consider the pH, the nutrient aspect, any trace or presence of any pathogenic infection of the soil. So when a farmer approaches us, first we usually start with that process whereby we request them to do or conduct a soil test, whereby the soil test will be able to show the condition or the state of the soil. So whereby if the soil is okay, we now give them the green light of what to do or what to farm. If the soil is not okay, we give recommendations of what can be done to rectify the soil. Whereby if, let's say, if the soil pH is high or low, there's a product called the agricultural lime, which is usually used to stabilize the pH. If there's nutrient deficiency, we do give the type of fertilizers or organic fertilizers, which can be used to boost the nutrient aspect of the soil. So after the land preparation, now usually now embark now on the seedling. Ourselves, we do provide or propagate certified seedlings which have good health. So depending on the one that is suited, we usually sell it to the farmer depending on the ecological requirement of the area. So once we sell the seedlings, we usually have now the agronomists, the field officers. A farmer can either choose to take the agronomist to come and help him with the planting, or he or she can just be given advice that is verbally to now go and implement or actualize the advice given. So with the agronomists, they usually walk the journey with the farmer, whereby time after time, as you know, these plants, as they grow at different stages, they require different management and practices. So the agronomist usually guides them all through. Now when the fruits are ready, in the market, normally from our end, we usually recommend or request our farmers to at least, once the fruits are almost ready, several months prior, to reach out to us, so that we can also be able to source the market in advance, so that once the fruits are ready, they don't get stranded with the fruits on their farms. So basically with that, as I said earlier, also find with the market, we usually focus on both local and export markets. So depending with the one which is available, is where we shall refer the farmer.
Okay, what kind?
Our end, mostly we usually recommend organic farming to our farmers, because lately you can realize even with the export market, most of the farmers who are doing they are farming using the chemical products, most of their products are getting rejected, whereby you find the majority even end up either not selling or maybe now trying to find a local buyer who can take them. So from our end, we usually recommend our farmers to do it organically all the way from production to the harvest, because we find ourselves with the seedlings, we usually produce them organically. It's usually very hard to find our seedlings. We use these chemical products to produce them. Okay, for the varieties of fruits that we sell, first of all, I'll start with the KASS avocado. Then we do have the Fuerte avocado. We have the passions. For the passions, we have both the yellow passion and the purple passion. Then we also have macadamia, mangoes. For mangoes, we have 4 varieties. We have the apple mango, Tommy mango, Kent mango, and Goe. Then we have the tree tomato, the red Oratia variety. Then we have also the strawberries, mulberries, guavas, and pawpaws, and also tissue culture bananas. So those are the major fruit seedlings that we specialize on.
Maybe you can tell us.
Okay, in Rift Valley we have 2 branches. One is situated in Nakuru, which is in that area locally known as Mkulima Nakuru Farm, and we have one in Eldoret. In Nakuru, the one in Nakuru is in White House area. The one in Eldoret is in Kapsoya. It's also called Mkulima Eldoret Farm. So you find all the seedlings that I've mentioned in all our branches, we usually ensure that we replicate the same. What is in Nakuru is what will be in Eldoret, and what will be in Eldoret is what will be in Nakuru, and also the price will be the same. So you find like I said earlier, you find as much as yes, you might say this climate suits this certain fruit, because you find most seedlings can do well in Nakuru and even most can do well in Eldoret. But first of all, we usually recommend our farmers to always ensure you don't overlook the aspect of the soil, because it's always very, very critical. Because you know when it comes to agriculture, or rather farming, once you overlook the aspect of the soil, then that means your project has a high chance of failing. Or rather, if it does not fail, you find the quality of the trees, once they are big, the production won't be that much suitable compared to the farmer who did start from step 1, which is looking at the soil, the condition of the soil. Mostly we don't just like identify a farmer, because we find mostly for Oxfam we usually prefer working with groups. There's this aspect of group dynamics. So you find like in most regions where we have our branches, you realize we have partnered with different groups, whereby we usually start by ensuring we mobilize a group of farmers, then we assemble them, train them, and then once you have trained them, now we start the journey with them, because we find at least with that farmer at least has the basics of what Oxfam needs, or what he or she knows what Oxfam expects. So working with the group is much easier, because we find even if there's any new technology given or produced from Oxfam, disseminating the information will be much easier through the group than individuals. So we find most of the farms that we usually take people to, you'll find the owner of those farms are actually members of the groups that we work with. So basically with the groups, it's really much easier to use that farmer's farm as a model farm. To the young people, what I can say is farming, actually find it's more of like a self-employment project, whereby you find it's a project whereby as a young person, it's something that we invest in. Like for us, if the way we are specializing on fruit farming, this is something we're investing. It's a long-term project. That is, if you are specializing on the long-term fruits, because we find there are those ones which mature after short duration. So with the fruit farming, we usually tell young farmers this is the best thing, because we find the moment you are grown and you have that family, and maybe you don't have enough funds to finance your lifestyle, then you find this fruit farming investment can bankroll your lifestyle that time, then in terms of managing your fees and other financial needs, at least in every region, because you find that each group usually has like minimum number of 50 farmers. So you find like in every region you have at least around 5 groups. Every region you have a branch.
Okay, maybe specifically because now here we've come to see.
Like here in Nyeri, there's a group of farmers called TEHU. Basically, as you'll see, the moment we did start here in 2016, we did plant as avocados, and we did also intercrop them with tree tomatoes. But at the moment, we realized the tree tomatoes they're not available, they're not present in the farmers. Already, they were plucked off. So with the Hass avocado, the advantage you can say is, at the moment, globally, you find that avocados are already market. That is the export market you're talking about, because you find you can't compare the consumption locally and the export. The export market, the export consumption is quite big compared to the local consumption. So you find with the Hass avocado, since it's a plant which has a very, very long lifespan, that is over 20 to 30 years. You find it's a good project, because you find per tree, once the tree is fully mature, per tree one can be even harvesting over 700 fruits. And you find in terms of the market, per fruit or rather per fruit or per kg, you find a fruit retails at around 10 to around 20 shillings, that is per fruit. And if it's kg, you can find a kg can go to around 80 to around 100 shillings per kg. So you find if you even have a 1 acre, and the 1 acre takes 150 trees, and each tree can produce, let's say, over 700. When you do the calculations, you can find even per acre, as much as it might look small to others, one can still be able to generate good income from that 1 acre.